This project will cover some of the basics for creating a newsletter or any similar two-column document. Most newsletters have a standard format that's repeated in each issue. This is a natural application for LibreOffice Writer, since once the page and paragraph styles have been established, the editor need only worry about content for each new issue. I've started a new document, and LibreOffice always names new documents untitled. You need to get into the habit of every time you start a new document, take control of the document name and the location. So I'm going to go here and say File, Save As, then I'll choose a location for this document, and the location, in my case, I'm using Drive C in a folder that I created earlier called AAA Practice Documents. And if this was very complicated, I might create a folder just for this newsletter project, but it's not very complicated, so I'm just going to name this My Newsletter and say Save. Now that I've done that as a first step, I don't have to worry about losing this document in some mysterious location. It's always a good idea when you start a new document to take control of the name and location of your document file. For this newsletter document, we're going to have 3 different page styles. So I'll go over here to the sidebar. By the way, if your sidebar shows the standard property sidebar, you need to change that before you create a custom page style. So we'll simply go over here to the sidebar and we'll select Styles, and then in the Styles sidebar we don't want paragraph styles, not character, not frame, but page styles. And I'm in the custom list. If you hadn't used that before, your page styles list might have a whole bunch of standards, but we're going to avoid those by creating our own custom styles. So we'll go here to custom styles, and that should be empty. If it's not, you should delete anything that's here. To create my first custom style, I'm going to right click, select New, and then in the Page Style dialog box, I'm going to name this style as My Left Page. Right now I have not yet created my right page as the next page, so I'm just going to leave that as my left page for now and come back and change it later. I'll go into the Page tab, and I'm going to change the margins. Now, because this is a left page, I want a larger right side margin for the binding, so I'll make the left margin be 0.5. Press the tab key, that automatically selects the next box, and I can just type in 0.75, tab, 0.5, tab, 0.5, and now I've set the margins. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the header, and I'm going to turn on the footer, and then I want to set columns to be two evenly spaced columns. Now I can create my right page, right click, New, my right page, and the next style now I can use my left page. Notice that on the list of standard styles there is a left page, and I don't want to confuse that, so that's why I named this My Left Page, just so it's not confused with any other page styles. Now to the Page tab, where I set the margins. This is my right page, so I need a wide margin on the left. And half-inch margins all the way around. Next, I want to turn on the headers and turn on the footers and set this to have 2 columns. Okay, I need one more. I need a title page. Right click, New, and I'm going to call this my first page. And the first page is going to be on the right side, so the next page style should be my left page. Not just plain left page, but my left page. Then I'll go to the Page tab. Once again, this is going to be my first page, so it's going to be on the right side, so I need a wide left margin. And half-inch margins all the rest of the way. I'll go to the header, turn that on. I'll go to the footer, turn that on. I'll go to columns and select 2 columns with equal size. Okay, now I have my 3 page styles, but wait a minute. I need to go back and edit my left page. So let me select my left page, say Edit Style. And the reason I have to do that, if I go to the Organizer tab, is because remember, I didn't have a right page to set there yet. So for my next style, now I can go in and select my right page. Okay, now I have my page title set. Let's just check it out. And the way I'll do that, I want to check out and make sure I got the margins right, everything lined up right. Let me go here and go to my first page. And then I'm going to force a page break by pressing Control Enter. That puts me on my left page. And by checking down here the page style, I can see what it is. Let's force another page break, Control Enter. That put me on my right page. Let me do one more. Control Enter. And now I'm back to a left page. Control Enter. And I'm back to my right page. Let me look at the book view and see how these really look. So over here I'll select Book View, and then I'm going to zoom way out. So I can see all of my pages. And now here you have it. It starts with my first page. Then it goes to my left page, goes to my right page, followed by another left page, followed by another right page. And the reason I do this, the reason I check in Book View zoomed way out, is that if I would have made a mistake on the left page, if I would have set the left page left margin wide and the left page right margin narrow, then it would show up here that it's not going to work. I want to have the extra space on the left page to be on the right, the extra space on the right page to be on the left, so that I have enough room for binding when these documents are printed double-sided. Okay, now that we've checked out the page layout, let's go back to a single page. And let me go to the top. I'm stuck here on my left page right now. This is a quiz. Remember the shortcut for jumping to the very top of the document? You have to hold the Control key down and press Home. And there we are, on my first page. Now that the page styles have been established, we need to go and set our paragraph styles. First paragraph style I'm going to create is a paragraph style for the header of the first page. So let me create new, and let me name this my first page header. And the next style will be, I'm going to use the next style to be my body text. Not my body text, but just the default body text. We can change that later if we like, but we'll have that for now. Indents and spacing, nothing to change here. Alignment, we want this header to be centered. And for the font, let's choose something bold and large. And, well, let's go in here and make sure that it has a shadow. Then we're going to go to the borders, and we're going to select the top and bottom borders only. And just for the sake of discussion, I'm going to add some padding to the top and bottom. I don't want to synchronize this. I want to change the padding. This will change the space above and below this paragraph. I'm going to change it to be 0.18 and 0.18. If we don't like that, we can change that later. Then we look at the border style, the color. I rather have a thicker border for this, so I'm going to select medium. There's one other thing I'm going to do for this header of my first page. That's going to be, I'm going to set the area, and I'm going to set the area to an image, and I'm going to choose the, let's see, paper texture. I think I'll choose the paper crumpled image for now. And I'm going to stretch that across the whole title. And again, we can change these anytime we want, but let's try that for now. There's another thing that I should have done when I started this document, but it's not too late to do it now. I'm going to go to File, Properties, and in the Properties dialog box, I'm going to create the title for this document. You can create any title you like, but for this example, I'm going to use the title, My LibreOffice Newsletter. OK. Now, back to the first page header. I'm going to put the cursor in the header on my first page, and I'm going to double-click my first page header. And there it is. Now I'm going to use the insert trick. By using this insert trick, you can minimize your typing. I'm going to insert. I could do it here, or I could use this insert field shortcut on the toolbar, and I'm going to insert the title, just like that. We've inserted the title field into our header for the first page. And notice if I click on that, I can't click in the middle of those words and edit any of that. When you see that, you'll know that that's an inserted field, and if you want to edit that, you'll have to go back to Properties, File, Properties, and edit the title field. Once you've inserted a field, it's there, but it cannot be changed unless you go back and edit that field. Let's add the date to this newsletter. I'm going to press a space, give me a little bit of room, and then I'm going to say Insert Date, either fixed or variable. I'm going to insert a variable date. If I put a fixed date there, it's going to stay there until I actually edit it. If I put a variable date, it'll change every time I reopen this file. Okay, there is my date field. I'm going to get right there in that space without selecting either field, and then I'll press enter, and it'll move that date to the next line. That's a date field, and when I click on it, you notice that it's highlighted. The whole date field is highlighted, showing me that's an inserted field. If I double click on that, it opens up the Edit Fields dialog box, and in this case I can change the format of the date. And let me choose this one and see how that looks. You see the change that made. Let me try it again. Let's say just plain December, OK, and now it just has the month. See, there are all kinds of ways to format your date field. Well, as you can see, I've gone ahead and added my old Lorem Ipsum placeholder text, and I've inserted a graphic just to demonstrate this newsletter. But at this point, if you've completed the earlier lessons, you have everything you need to know to be able to insert your text, insert graphics, wrap it around text, and if you save your basic newsletter file, The next time you want to start a new newsletter, you open that newsletter file and go to File, Save As, and create a new newsletter with a new name. And as you can see, if you want to create a series of newsletters, once you've set the page styles and the paragraph styles you want to use, creating newsletter after newsletter becomes quick and easy.